everybody. We are so excited about today's stream. My name is Anya. I'm product marketing at Restream. And today with me is Joel, who
Hi,
is product manager here at Restream as well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Happy to be here. Yeah.
We are very excited. This is a new format. It's kind of like a casual chat in our Restream studio. But today we're not going to be talking about Restream exclusively. We're going to be talking primarily about artificial intelligence and the future of video creation around it. So there are a lot of really, really exciting questions. And we, of course, welcome everyone who is watching us right now to submit their questions in the chat. To get us started, feel free to let us know where in the world are you watching us from and kind of what is your relationship with AI? Are you working on something in the field or just exploring? Are you optimistic about it or a little cautious? We will cover a lot of that today. And most interestingly, Joel prepared a bunch of really cool examples of
Yeah.
how AI could impact live video today. So, what already is possible. And we can wait to share those with you. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and do a little like longer introduction of what you do, like how, like what is your background, and yeah, how do you connect with AI today?
Yeah. So, first of all, hi everyone. I'm really happy to be here. And yeah, we've been wanting to do this for a really long time. So, yeah, just really excited. My name is Joel Hernandez. I'm a product engineering lead at Restream. And yeah, my kind of, yeah, I started as a young kid, like getting into computer programming and software. And that kind of mixed with, science fiction, oh, kind of triggered the interest in, artificial intelligence and, you know, um, the space and, possible different forms of intelligence that might exist on science fiction. And so, yeah, when I went to university, I was writing some articles for a university newspaper on artificial intelligence, and I just kept kind of up to date with all the developments, and had a few side projects. And yeah, at some point those side projects became real products. So I'm an entrepreneur myself, before joining Restream. So yeah, a lot of experience and a lot of excitement for the past few years, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence.
That's
And
awesome. No, it's really impressive. I like how you say, like, yeah, all my life I basically was doing this thing, which is like very impressive. And it is an interesting field and definitely a very hard one to be in. So if anyone watching us today also has like questions about like how to get into that field or how to like very quickly progress there, like what are some like pointers that you can kind of add to your kind of self development and growth in that area, well, is the guy to ask as well.
thanks so much.
So I guess yeah. So you kind of mentioned on like what you do at Restream right
Mhm.
now. So we might do a little reveal in the end of this show of something like really exciting and AI driven that Joel is working on within the Restream ecosystem. But before we get there, I guess like the big question is like AI and video creation, right?
Mhm.
So are you optimistic about it in general? Like, how do you see the future of that? And then I guess we'll dive into some examples that are very, very exciting and positive. But what's your kind of general feeling about video creation and creation
Yeah.
in general, content and AI? How do they mix?
Yeah, I think it's as exciting as it has ever been. To be honest, there's so many possibilities unlocked with AI for content creators. Um, I would dare to say that even more so on live content creators. I have some examples to kind of give you a sneak peek into what these possibilities can be. But yeah, I think there's so many ways to augment one's live presence with these tools. Be it reaching more audiences through live translation, or generating some virtual avatars of yourself to kind of automate some portions of your live streaming. I think we're at a very big inflection point for content creators, and live streaming is not the exception. I think we're gonna see some really big changes in the years to come. And yeah, I'm happy to be working on the future of live streaming here at Restream. So
Awesome.
yeah,
All right. So without any further, I guess, waiting, let's go ahead and show people some examples of what AI can do for video creators today. So
yeah.
that is all like done by you manually, just a few hours or maybe a day before we decided to run this event. So if you are Coel smart, it's pretty easy. So yeah, let's go ahead and show like some of the examples of what AI could do for video creators.
Yeah. I think there's different parts. Like I think every component of like live streaming, you have music, you have the content itself, you have the audience that you're targeting, right? Like which countries, which regions, and I think on every of these different components of live streaming, there's something that AI can help you with. I think the quickest example, it's music, right? Like this has been a recurring topic. You know, I would like to add some music to my live streams, but I
Yeah.
want royalty-free music, and I need to find the right vibe for my live streams. And artificial intelligence can help with this. We have a lot of AI models that allow you to produce full-blown, soundtracks just by giving it a prompt. And I have here two examples to show you. And for example, if you would want to do a Dota live stream event, you want the background music for it, and you generate this kind of music, right? It's kind of like a gaming, music, intense, very
Epic.
energetic, epic,
Yeah.
and you would be able to generate this within 5 seconds and just have it rolling on your live stream without any copyright issues or anything like that. And it also works for a different kind of live streaming, right? Like if you want to do corporate events, webinars, training, you also need music. And so I made another example over here for corporate soft background music for a live panel of geopolitics, and yeah, you can from
Right.
live. So it's kind of like so yeah, that goes for music. There's another really fun example I just wanted to include in here that it not only can generate like soundtracks, but it actually can generate entire songs.
With lyrics.
With lyrics. So I'm just gonna play you a few seconds of this.
Oh my god.
Anya and Joel, two souls in the heartland, sharing their stories, clinging to the land. On Restream they meet, crossing cyberspace, talking about it.
Yeah, so that in
This is
itself,
the
it's
epic example. A country song about cyberspace that features Joel and
yeah.
Anya. This is so amazing.
Yeah, so that on itself is really exciting. I think it's also a lot of challenges for people doing live streams, but there's more exciting things also happening. When I was talking about the kind of the audiences that you have, right? Like I think there's a big untapped potential in for English speaking creators in other markets, and I think one of the figures that have kind of shown that has been, of course, Mr. Beast, right? I don't know if you're aware of this, but Mr. Beast has different channels where he does dubbing in different languages. So, you know, he does his first video, of course, in English, and then he has Spanish, French, Italian, and these videos get to number one trending hits on YouTube, and it just completely exponential kind of reach.
Yeah.
And yeah, so given to past recent developments in AI, we're getting closer to the point where we can do this live, right? Like right now, we can do it with a bit of delay. Like I would be speaking one language, and you would be hearing a different one on the other end. And this is how it looks like. I want to show you, because
Yeah.
it's not just like translation.
Hi everyone, my
It's the
name is
original one.
Joel Hernandez, and I just wanted to let you know that Restream is the best way to multi-stream to
All
all
right,
platforms
so-
at
So
once.
true.
So that's the original one, and now I'm going to show you,
Hi everyone, my name is
the French one. So.
Bonjour à tous, je m'appelle Joel Hernandez et je voulais juste vous dire que Restream est le meilleur moyen de diffuser en multipost sur toutes les plateformes en même temps.
This is so impressive. And
So-
for the record, you don't speak French.
I don't speak French.
So this is just completely AI generated, and
Yeah.
it makes you sound. I don't speak French either, but I mean I've heard
Sounds
it before.
legit.
It sounds
Sounds
legit.
legit, yeah.
By the way, if you speak French and you are watching us right now, please leave a comment and just let us know how spot on is this. Because and maybe it's off, but I would love to know because I can check.
Yeah, hey, I don't know either. Like
yeah.
this kind of what the AI generated.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not only sound, but it also like does the lip sync,
Yeah.
and it looks really legit. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to tell that this is AI generated. And I
Absolutely
just have
not.
like another fun example of like a language that I definitely don't speak, and just because it's
Japanese.
cool, so
Let's do it.
皆さん、私の生名はフェルエルナンデスです。レストリームはすべてのプラットフォームに一度にマルチストリームする最良の方法だとお知らせしたかったんです。
This is incredible. I also don't speak Japanese, but it sounds very legit from all the movies
Yeah.
and like cartoons I've ever watched on
like
this.
what?
So tell me this. How what are the steps? Like how long did it take you to do this? And
Yeah.
so you uploaded the original video
Mhm.
and then so with AI generated music, I assume is just like a prompt based, right? Like it's very similar
Yeah.
to ChatGPT. You just say, "Hey, I want a funny song, country style with this title that features
Mhm.
this kind of characters and this kind of story." So with this guys, you record yourself in your original language, then you
Yeah.
upload it into AI, and then what happens? How long do you need to wait? Do you need to give it
Yeah.
prompts other than the language? Anything that you need to like let it know
Mhm.
about like the tone, like any other kind of like interesting nuances there?
Yeah. So this was generated in my machine,
Mm-hmm.
and right now it's kind of like a multi-step process. Like you have to first you take the audio out, and you first translate the audio into a different language, and then you match the new audio with the face. Like you have a different model to do the lip sync.
Yeah.
So right now it's a bit of a manual process. There's a lot of manual steps, but to be honest, it took me I don't know, like 3 minutes to do it. With a setup already
Yeah.
there. But yeah, as I mentioned, it is only a matter of time. Like technology keeps getting better. GPUs keep getting faster. So I think in the next year, we're gonna start seeing more of these kind of features in live content.
Yeah, I'm just
So
gonna acknowledge a couple of comments here coming
mhm.
from our friends at Restream. One is from Pete. He says, "Mind blown." I know, me too, especially the Japanese. Like, oh my god, this is crazy. And Jared here says the AI language dubbing is incredible. It is, and just imagine how much time it can save you, but also how much more visibility and reach it allows you to get with the
Yeah,
same content. Because let's face it, a lot of people who don't speak English are not going to engage with this stream right
yeah,
now, with the exception of that little piece in French and in Japanese. But it's amazing if we could in real time, even with a small delay, also rebroadcast this in all those amazing languages and like
yeah.
just quadruple the audience just like this with just a few toggles.
Yeah,
So this is the
it's
future of
it's just
content. Oh my goodness.
yeah, and I'm happy to be sharing this over here. It's something that we definitely have to keep an eye. I think as lives, like as content creators, and as people that yeah, that are in this kind of want to understand what's going on in AI, and yeah, there's so what comes after that, right? Like you
Yeah.
have been able to kind of reach a broader audience. Well, the next step is like, okay, how about uh, what if it's not me, the one that is reaching that audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the same model that can generate this kind of AI dubbing, well, not the same ones exactly, but with the same kind of technology, we can produce also entirely virtual replicas of ourselves. And a few years back, that looked kind of funky, like it didn't look that accurate. But yeah, I'm gonna show you something that I also did today. It took me a few minutes to make, and yeah, just take a look for yourself. It's Hi everyone, I'm the virtual avatar version of Joel. Have I secretly attended some of his meetings for him? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Who's to say? I hope you're all enjoying this live Q&A. So that's not me.
Wait, what? You
That
are in
is
this studio and you were
yeah.
saying that you did not record this in this space?
No,
Like
I
this thing right
that is not
here?
me.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Mind blown.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is the next step. I think we're gonna see more and more of this. They call them AI twins, where it kind of works similarly to how like voice cloning and those sort of technologies work, where you have to give it some initial data. Like you record yourself saying a couple of words, reading some sentences. Nothing that takes too long. It's like a minute worth of your time, processes, and then you've got a virtual clone of yourself that can say anything on your behalf, can do hand gestures. I don't know if you noticed, but by the end of the video, I didn't instruct it to do a hand gesture, and it was just
Just doing it.
doing it by itself. So yeah, and it's impossible to be able to tell that this is an AI generated version of myself.
I'm
So
like really,
yeah,
really puzzled by this. This is so crazy because yes, and it's just like the gestures are so you.
yeah,
Like they are not just like random, like, hey, like
no,
I'm just gonna do something that's completely not typical for the situation. They kind of match the face, the details. Like I would say the lack of glasses is the only thing that
yeah.
kind of like makes
I did
me
it on purpose.
no.
I was like, I have to distinguish myself from this AI clone. So yeah,
So okay, so you said like no
yeah.
glasses on my virtual twin, and then the only reason why, if you wanted them to be on, you
Yeah, I would
this
just
is
record it with my glasses.
insane.
But yeah, so if at any point you see a video of myself somewhere on the internet, if it has no glasses, it's not me.
If mine
So
has glasses, also not me. So no, this is unbelievable. But this is so
so
crazy because it's basically it just remember how a lot of times we used to say when you're so busy and you have so many projects, like, oh, I wish I could clone myself. I wish I could just like, get like a double, like a twin of myself that would be doing the stream while I'm working on something else. And this is here. It's real. It's
yeah,
happening. At least
it's
in
real.
video. Not yet in real life. I would love to have like a copy of me like, you know, doing some house work right now if possible. But at least in this context it's already here. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
What else do you have? I mean, I don't
Wow.
even know. Like I'm sure you're kind
Yeah.
of like building it up to like more and more crazy
Yeah. I mean,
intense stuff. So what's next? I'm terrified.
yeah, I think that these are like all different components that make up like what live streaming is. So we have music, we have the reach, the language, we have the host essentially, and then of course comes the content, right? Like if you're doing a live stream, you need some media, media to show. You want to showcase some clips, to add as your back on your background. And yeah, there is this new thing, new technology in town. It's not accessible yet to the public, but it's called Sora.
Hmm.
Some of you might have heard about it on LinkedIn. It was everywhere around the news. But yeah, what this technology allows people to do is, in the same way that they generate music with a prompt, they can generate like full blown media assets. So you
Hmm.
can generate. I think I'll let the video speak for itself.
Yeah, let's see how good that is. Because the concern with AI generated visuals is always like, are they going to look real? Are they going to look good? Are they going to look too like robotic? So let's see
Yeah,
what
let's
what
see how
what
it looks
what you
like.
got there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty good if you ask me. So like and I'm just gonna set this on replay so like people can keep watching. I'm just gonna mute it so we're not um, you know, uh,
Here,
covered by the
music. Yeah,
music.
cover by the
Yeah,
music.
but like
Yeah.
just so people can keep watching because the interesting thing here is it does look very, especially this piece right
Mhm.
here, like a walk somewhere in Japan.
Right.
Um, but it looks so crazy because there's sakura and snow, which is not happening in
Yeah.
real life.
Yeah.
So it's basically your imagination kind of unhinged. And also like the detail, like the detail of the flooring. Like I'm looking at this stuff. I mean, it does have a little bit of a touch of kind of like a very specific cinematic approach. So like
Yeah.
they all kind of have something in common. There's a little pattern. Like as a person who does a lot of
Yeah.
video work, like I can see that it's basically filmed with the same kind of filter, right? Or like
Yeah.
with the same like style. But like the movement of camera is so smooth, the details are so clear, and basically that's prompt based, it's text based. Like so
Yeah.
you don't have to have any video production abilities
Yeah.
whatsoever. You just have to be able to think about something cool
Yeah.
and write it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that creates a visual.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, it is completely mind blowing. I think the first time that I saw this, yeah, I opened the Twitter announcement and I saw these videos and I literally my jaw dropped. I was wow. I thought that this technology was going to be here, in 2-3 years, but yeah, it's here And yeah, it's gonna change live streaming as well, because I don't know if like if we recap, we have these so many of these components that make up live streaming. You have like the media, the host, the language, the music, and to what ties it all up, right? Like then it's the script, right? Like the storyline. What is your live stream going to be about? What are you going to be showing? Which assets? How does it look like end to end, everything put together? And yeah, that's where we're. It's kind of an announcement, I think, that we're doing here, but
Let's do it.
we've been working, at Restream into building towards that direction. How do we help people craft entire storylines for their live streams using AI, and kind of in the future building on top of this to integrate like music generation, video generation, all of these things. And yeah, we have some a tool that is going to be coming up in the upcoming weeks. It's an experiment. I think we're at the experimentation phase at Restream, and it's we have a bunch of AI script generator agents. So what this means is that you probably seen on, you can go to probably to open an AI and ask it, like, hey, I want to do a live stream about I don't know, I'm gonna go again with Dota. I want to do a
Yeah.
live stream about me, playing Dota, and it can give you a storyline and a script for your live stream that it's good enough. But what we're doing here differently is that we're using AI agents. So what these AI agents do is that you give it a topic like, oh, I want to do a webinar on, say, cybersecurity at the office, and this agent will go browse the internet, find, okay, what this webinar should be about, who should the audience be, get some media assets, get a lot of information, the stuff that you
Yeah.
you would usually do yourself before putting together the
Yeah, all
script for
the
the live stream.
research, all the like
Yeah,
collecting all the media, like thinking about like things that I will be like the flow, like the
yeah,
whole thing. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just, we're just going to show an image of the one of these generators right now. It looks quite lean, quite simple, but you're going to, as you can probably see there's like a sources section, and once you expand that, you're going to see that the script is based on a lot of sources. We find, for example, if you're doing a live stream, a live selling live stream where you're trying to sell some products live, it will go and find your competitors, it will find their pricing, it will find, craft a very compelling live stream story on your behalf. And yeah, you can see that you will have very structured sections. And yeah, the next step is bringing this into the studio. So this is just one of the
Quick
small ways that
review.
we're working on the future live streaming, how to integrate with AI. And yeah, I'm super excited about what the upcoming months are gonna be looking at for us. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this is super exciting. And if you look, just to pause here for one
mhm.
more second, so this is within our ecosystem of free tools. So
Yeah,
in the beginning, this opportunity is going to be open for everyone.
yeah,
You technically don't even have to have a Restream account. It's recommended because once you got this wonderful script, what are you going to do next? Probably go to studio, right?
yeah.
But right now, it is something that you can use for free, and you can even go live directly in YouTube or any other platform, but still use this wonderful generator to help build your story and see it all these nuances. And of course, this is just a very, very early stage version of it. We're going to elaborate and iterate on that as we
Mhm.
go. But it gives you a lot of interesting things like sources or the tone of voice. Eventually, it will be starting from something as simple as just a link to your website, and then this prompt of like, what are you trying to do? Am I trying to sell products? I'm trying to educate somebody about like my services or goods, or is this something where we're doing some kind of internal communication thing? And this is kind of like the topic that I need to make sure that I get everyone aligned around. So there are so many different applications. And from my experience in product marketing and talking to customers, I've heard so many times people saying, I would love to go live, but I just don't know what to say. I just don't
Mhm.
want to sound weird. I don't want to get like, I don't want to stumble over my words. I don't want to sound stupid. There's like a whole array of things that people are worried about when they are preparing for their live stream. And even for someone like me who's hosted like hundreds of streams by now, it's still very kind of, it's a little cringy in the beginning when you're starting the stream, and like you try your best to like make sure. So we're doing this live and natural, very
Yeah,
authentically. But in the end of the world, like this is such a great help with your writer's block when you're just like,
Yeah.
I'm so stuck, I just can't begin to think about this. And you can of course edit it and change it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we will start this a few weeks from now, I guess, and it will
Yeah.
be free.
Yeah.
So
This
yeah,
this first, first so we're gonna roll out very soon, and yeah, it's gonna be a very fast iterations we're gonna be doing in this, and I think you mentioned it. It's the beginning of like how to make like a lot of these things and how to help you and other content creators live stream easier, right? Like make your life easier. So
your life easier.
wow, okay, that is a great, yeah, great
It's a good line. How
catchphrase.
to make it
Wow.
live easier. Oh, this is awesome. I love it. So we are inviting you all guys to ask us any questions if you have any. And while you guys are thinking, potentially, I'm going to ask you a couple of controversial things because I'm sure a lot of people are watching us right now thinking, okay, great. I was a videographer one day, and my job was to film people walking in the streets of Tokyo. And now this sort of thing is going to do the whole thing. Same for actors, same for musicians, composers, right? Like we
Wow.
covered so many different writers,
Yeah.
right? I'm basically like one of my most sellable skills as a product manager is copy, right? Like so that's where I started. That's where a lot of product managers start and product marketers and marketers in general. So we are basically a lot of people I know are kind of concerned. Like, is this going to replace humans completely? Do we just need one who help to like run the whole
No,
operations?
geez.
Like how would that
Yeah.
look for like is there a concern or is this is just the same as like any other tools like computer for writers, right?
Mhm.
Or is this a typewriter? Like
Yeah.
it's still here, but it's just a tool that allows you to
Mhm.
perfect and speed up.
Yeah, I think that's a $1 million question that everyone has on their
Nobody
mind right
knows.
now, and yeah, I think something that has kind of helped me also like understand it and also be a bit
Mhm.
like calm about this whole situation is I visit some museums, and I think I visited one a few days back, and I was looking at some of the art pieces, and I'm like, it was photography, right? So it was photography made in the 60s, I believe, and I'm looking at these pieces, and these artists, they used all sort of techniques, right? Like they first printed the Polaroid, like painted over it, like flipped it over with paint, used a lot of different tools in order to get to a point where uh, nowadays it would be the equivalent of an Instagram filter,
Yeah.
right? So all that work, nowadays it's as easy as just tapping on one Instagram filter. So what it made me realize, is that these artists at that point, they were using the best tools that they had at their within the reach, and how would their art look like if instead of having paint and all those things, they would have access to all these AI tools. And I think it would look incredible. They would have taken it to what's going to come up in the next years, which is to a completely different level, right? So yeah, I think in general, AI, be it for content creators, script writers, videographers, it's a tool, that you should it will make your life way easier, so you should try to get involved, understand it, see how can you apply it, and yeah, it will give you superpowers. I think I've spoken to a lot of friends as well, that they excelled at certain things, and they're like, well, now this AI is kind of my sidekick on everything else that
Yeah.
I wasn't doing great at. So yeah, I'm optimistic. I'm very optimistic about this. I think the future is bright. To be honest, that's my opinion. But yeah, super exciting stuff. I'm positive about it.
I think so too. You see, like I agree that in
Mhm.
general, AI is really good at replicating certain things, but it's not as good at generating something completely new that never existed before. So the human imagination is still kind of like at the center, at the nucleus of this. So even to create these beautiful videos that we just watched, someone had to dream or imagine these scenarios, right? Like you still have to give it prompts. And I think it's just going to give people a lot of opportunity to like materialize
Yeah.
some of their crazy thoughts and ideas, things that just like if you are lacking certain abilities,
Yeah.
such as paint, right? Like painting or drawing or writing in a nice and concise way, it just allows you to express yourself, and it just kind of like helps there. But the
Yeah.
idea, the seed, the source
Yeah.
is still the creative ability of human beings, which is still very
Yeah.
unique. So AI is not going to replace that, in my opinion. It's just going to kind of like build upon that. So
I
that's
agree.
super exciting. Do you
That's super
see
exciting.
any, so another controversial question before, before we wrap up is, I'm sure like anything, like internet is a good example in general,
Hmm.
right? Something that is built to connect people, to unite people, to create this kind of like endless source of knowledge for everyone and anyone in the world. But of course, anything can be used in a good way
Hmm.
or in a bad way. Like another great example is hammer, right? Like you can build a house with a hammer, or you can like kill your neighbor with a hammer. Like so there are like different ways how like people can apply
Hmm.
useful tools. Do you feel concerned at all about like all these abilities of AI if they end up in the hands of bad actors? Because like let me tell you this, that Avatar, like I was convinced. And if
Oh
someone
yeah.
sent me a video of that, you saying something like completely obnoxious and crazy, I would just be like, this guy is nuts. I don't want to be
Yeah.
friends with him anymore. Like, so things like that. And this is like a very kind of like low level, like very like
Yeah.
straightforward, like not very intelligent example, but I'm sure there are like more intricate ways of how AI
Oh
could
yeah.
be abused. What is your kind of like, I guess, what are your thoughts? Like, is, I know it's like one of those things you can't just
Hmm.
box it back and be like, oh, they're like two
Yeah.
bad people, so like let's not do this at all. Let's not have cars because some people drive drunk or whatever. But like, are there any ideas of like how to keep it in the good hands, or what to do? Anything?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a constant, back and forth. I think with all kind of technology, that we have, um, yeah,
Yeah.
created. But yeah, I like to believe that there's always. I believe in the good nature of the human spirit. So that means that uh, we're already seeing it, right? A lot of people are using AI fakes,
Mm-hmm.
and they're using bots actually to try to manipulate social media to influence people in different ways. But at the same time, you have all these new startups and companies that are coming up with solutions, into how to counter these sort of situations. And yeah, I mean, historically, I think the reason we're all here in this kind of working society has been because there has always been a larger push, uh, for doing things that bring good to everyone, right? So I think as long as we believe that humans are inherently kind with each other. There's a great book about that. I believe it's called Human Kindred. So
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I'm positive that we're going to find a way forward. And for everyone watching and is kind of concerned about all these possibilities, I think the best thing that we can do right now, to be honest, as like a society, is to understand what the capabilities are of this technology, so that we know what to watch out for.
Yeah.
Um, like for example with AI as well as cloning, there's already been a lot of reports, kind of worldwide, that
Mm.
people are getting calls from their loved ones, and they're like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm in an emergency, I need some
Yeah.
money, or so. But yeah, it just as soon as you know that that technology is out there, then you're gonna pick up the phone, hang it up, and then call your real loved one,
Yeah,
and find
yeah,
out
or
what's
have
going
like a
on.
code word or something. Like you can
Yeah,
always, yeah, like once you're aware, you're
yeah.
protected. That's really
So
good. And also be a good actor yourself. If everyone just thinks about it and like applies their best self to AI, we won't have bad AI, right? So this is kind of
yeah, and
thing.
talk to your friends and family. I think
Yeah.
you might have seen some things here today that might have been new to you. So just always like chit chat, like, hey, did you know that you can now
Yeah.
create a completely indistinguishable version of yourself with AI that can speak,
Did you
move
know?
hands and everything one to one. I think that's a good conversation starter
So
for
good
family dinner.
start. Absolutely. We have a great question here from
Yeah.
Alex, and he wants to know, do you agree with the hypothesis that AI is limited by
Wow.
existing human knowledge? And to advance further, we need to first evolve as humans. It's kind of a nice segue from the
Hmm.
idea of like using it for good or using it for bad.
Yeah.
So this is more in the realm of like just the limitation, like the cognitive
Hmm.
intellectual abilities of humans Are we kind of like cutting AI short because of our own imperfections? Like, what do you think about? That's a great question. I love it. Thanks,
Yeah,
yeah. Thanks,
yeah,
Alex.
that is a great question. I think a lot of human knowledge has been knowledge repurposing. Once 20 different scientists have different inventions in different parts of the planet. They find different ways to mix and match, and then you have new human knowledge. So I think that there is still a lot of these kind of knowledge connections to make, and that it's impossible for us as humans, to find all these possible combinations of things that we can uh, of new knowledge to discover from pre-existing knowledge. And I think that's where AI will shine for us, right? Like if AI has the ability to access, like all of the research papers in the world all at once, and has this amazing computing capability, it will be able to find and discover things that we could have not done it ourselves. And this already there's some precedent to this. There's something that is happening in this sort of knowledge discovery has been with DNA, right? Like
Yeah.
um, finding new sequences, DNA sequences that represent different things, and this a lot of the work is automated already using AI models. Um, but yeah, I think like there's two camps, right? Like, right now
Yeah.
in AI, there's the kind of like futurists, optimists, and there's also like the kind of the people that are very wary about it.
Yeah.
And I think I've been both at some point, like there's but
Depending on what you see, you kind of swing between the two.
I
Yeah,
think
that's
kind of,
true.
yeah, kind of both, but I think at the end of the day, yeah, it's just one more tool to add to our toolkit. And I think in the future, there's going to be so many more questions we're going to have to answer. If we're talking about self-awareness of AI and those sort of situations. But for the time being, I think it's something that we can genuinely use to improve our lives, the lives in our public life, and our society in general.
Yeah,
So
get happier and healthier. And I think
so
another kind of point to that
mhm,
is it is inevitable. Like it's one of those things at this
mhm,
point that whether you're in the camp of, oh my gosh, this is great or
mhm.
this is horrible, it's not going away.
Yeah,
And
it's
I think
Pandora's
that's,
box.
yeah, the Pandora's box is open.
Yeah.
And the opportunity here is to either cautiously embrace it
Mhm,
or just be upset about it, but there's not much that can be done. And I think that's an interesting perspective to just look at that from the idea of like, if you can't beat them, join them. Because in the end of the day, you can either leverage
mhm.
that and create,
Yeah.
especially if we're talking about the context of video creation and content creation in general, or you are going to be left behind, unfortunately,
Mhm.
because yeah, because like you can't just ignore it or pretend like it never happened. That ship has sailed. um
Well, we have a really big question. Wow.
yeah, Alex is yeah, adding another one to the table. Great question. Are we moving towards a symbiosis in that case?
Yeah, this is
Are
a.
we?
I mean, it's an interesting question because yeah, it depends on what which one of these bands you have this question to. There's some people believe that AI will eventually evolve itself and kind of out out evolve us,
Hmm.
and that the best way to counter this is to essentially become one with
Hmm.
AI. So
Hmm.
augment ourselves, our capabilities, embed ourselves in it, so that it cannot kind of get rid of us. I think this is gonna have to be something that we will know until we know. To be honest, there's a it's good to be reminded also while talking about like high level topics is that the core technology, right, that AI
Hmm.
right now is, which is based on statistics. Like in the same
Hmm.
way that on your iOS,
Yeah.
autocorrect, you're typing a message and you're going to see some like words popping up, like suggesting
Yeah.
what word should come next.
Yeah.
That's essentially how large language models work nowadays. So based on
Hmm.
the text that you already have, it will try to autocomplete
To
it.
guess, yeah.
So from that sort of understanding of where AI is right now, I think we are not yet evolving into this kind of symbiosis. If we would have a different kind of AI, something that would be more kind of emulation rather than simulation, then those kind of doors would start, becoming more interesting. I think for researchers and a bit more open. But yeah, I think these are all very important, fundamental questions that anyone working with AI, to accelerate it or to build these models has to be asking themselves. And we have to be, yeah, ready for the uncertainty that might come in the next few years. But yeah,
It's a very
great
impressive.
questions. Yeah,
It's a
these
very
are
impressive
great
stuff. So
questions.
yeah, absolutely. So to wrap this up real quick, oh,
Yeah,
there are more
let's keep
questions.
on going. We have some
Let's
interesting.
get one more. Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe, but
Yeah.
we've got time. So Alex is on fire. Does AI give us new abilities, allowing us to make new discoveries that we can then apply back into AI? So that's kind of, yeah, like can we? That is an
Mhm.
interesting one. So that kind of like makes this
Yeah.
never-ending cycle of
Mhm.
learning from it, and then basically like with money, right? Like you make money, you
Mhm.
invest money, invested money makes more money, so you can invest and like kind of like continue that way with knowledge development
Yeah.
and growth with AI. This is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I think it does. I think right now the press is quite manual. I think the kind of we see it right now with, for example, distilled models. So you have this really big model that is great at a lot of things, and then we create like a thinner version of it. Like we humans, where it really excels at one of those subset of things. So and then we use the distilled model to improve the base models. So it's kind of like a closed feedback loop that we're already doing on AI. But the next step is, of course, with things like Devin. Devin is kind of like a AI programmer thing that has access to its own source code. And something that has been going on for the past few weeks is that it started working on its own source code. So the AI agent, which is called Devin, it's fixing its own bugs, improving its own features. And right now the process is really slow, because as I mentioned, it right, like the technology is quite early, and takes a lot of trial and error. But we're there. That there's already kind of like this window into the future where AI will learn to improve itself. And so yeah, I think right now humans are doing it. In the future, AI will be taking more the lead on that. So
That's beautiful and scary at the same time. That's amazing. So just to start closing, oh, interesting. The little reaction is freezing things a little bit. Yeah, thanks a lot for questions, everybody. This is um, really exciting conversation. Just as our kind of closing remarks, are there any specific AI tools that you would recommend to creators today? And we will end them to the links or comments in our to our video replays. If you missed the beginning of
mhm.
it, definitely watch the replay because Joel was demonstrating some really amazing things that you could do with AI, with music, with language translation, and with
Mhm.
complete generation of avatars and videos. So any AI tools in particular that you recommend people play with, of course, like ChatGPT is the first one that comes to mind when it comes to generating texts. Anything else that you would say people should be on the lookout for and try?
Yeah.
And then we will link those tools in the description for you guys as well if you want to kind of play with them.
Yeah. I think right now these kind of tools are all spread around across the realm of the internet. I can mention a few ones, but I think this is also where we're
Yeah.
trying to improve in Restream to make
Yeah.
it so that you get access to all these kind of new cool functionalities in the
Together.
studio
Yeah.
together. But yeah, I can recommend a few. I think for music generation, if you want to create some audio for your live streams, you can use probably
Mm-hmm.
Suno.ai. They have a free account where you can generate like 30-second music. So be sure to give that a try. If you'd like to try out the avatars, like to build an AI avatar version of yourself, you can probably use HeyGen.
Mm-hmm.
HeyGen, that's HeyGen, yeah, like Hey Generation, but just HeyGen. And that one, yeah, will take you probably like 15 minutes to do, but you'll be able to play around and see, what the capabilities are over there. About video generation, as I mentioned, Sora is not out yet. There's something called stable video diffusion that is from a competitor, but it's really not that
Mhm.
great, not really comparable. But you can generate like 5-second clips.
Mhm.
If you want to generate, for example, a gradient, for your backgrounds, you can use that. You can definitely use that.
Very useful.
And yeah, stay tuned in our channels because in the coming week, we're going to have a new tool out that is going to allow you to generate really, high quality scripts for your YouTube videos, for your TikTok videos, and for your live streams. So it's going to be an experiment. Again, it's the first one of many experiments that we're going to be conducting in Restream. We want to make sure that everything that we build into Restream that has to do with AI, it has, some really, really, strong um, ability to make your life easier. You get that?
Yeah.
I use the life easier
Live.
thing.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, keep an eye on what we're working on. I think we're gonna put some exciting stuff out there.
We are going to bring in a lot of those things.
Mhm.
I'm just going to highlight a few more comments because folks in the chat created a few more ideas for us. And one is from Alex. Imagine we create a tool that helps us learn more about ourselves, but to advance and fully understand everything, we need to give this tool the knowledge of all humanity. That is a wonderful world that I also would like to imagine. And in the specific live streaming application, interesting idea here. Why not make a tool that will interact with all the chatters in the live chats? So
Yeah.
basically, Nitro Crazy says it's like its own person in the
Yeah.
chat. So it's basically kind of like textual models
Yeah.
that will just help you engage the audience because it is hard to multitask. Let's face it. Like we're doing it right now. We don't have a
Yeah.
co-producer, and so thanks for bearing with us, trying to like fiddle with messages. So yeah, there are like lots and lots of interesting ideas.
Yeah. And that's definitely,
Yeah.
it's we're thinking a lot about these kind of features. We're doing a lot of thinking, a lot of research, and a lot of experimentation where we're trying to build tools to kind of level up what live streaming is today, but also to do it in a way that's safe and that's scalable. So yeah, this is a great idea, and I think it comes back to the AI host situation, right? Like the first thing that we have right now is that we have this virtual version of yourself that you can, get it to say what you want it to say. But the next version of that is, of course, that it's autonomous, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna bring just some extra kind of video over here because it's about Ray Hoffman, famous entrepreneur.
Why would I want to be
And
interviewed
and
by a
he created
digital
a video
version of
where
myself?
he essentially created a virtual version of himself, but not only a virtual version of himself, but also a version that has access to all books he's written, all of his Wikipedia pages, all of his articles, everything that there is to know about himself.
Oh my god.
And he conducted an interview
Great
with
question.
himself. So
Keep
we're gonna
humanity in the
drop the
loop
video link
with that is
somewhere.
probably
Yeah.
something that, I'll give some consideration to changing the headline.
A sec.
So what role should governments play in regulating AI and especially fostering innovation because the future is so important?
In discussing AI regulation, governments must balance fostering innovation with maintaining ethics, encouraging global, cross-disciplinary collaborations.
So, so yeah,
Yeah.
this guy was doing a video where he's interviewing himself like this version. So that's kind of the next step, where we're gonna have more autonomous content creation, and it's gonna be in the chat, it's gonna be in the video, and yeah, I think also a really good remark to bring up at this point is that you know I don't think that real creators will get displaced. I think in the same way that you know right now we're seeing this kind of counter culture where we have all this like stable diffusion that generates like pretty art that it's in a way making the work of human artists more valuable.
Yeah.
Because you can see a lot of pretty images generated by this AI, and you're like, oh, cool. But if you see something that kind of looks similar, maybe perhaps in real life. And you can look around, you see all the brush strokes, and all the work, and the human kind of nature of it is wow, and it's like mind blowing. So I think the same will happen with live streams. I think there will be a place for both, for like authentic, like human live streamers, and also AI generated streamers.
Or supported, just like not entirely generated, but like,
Yeah.
just helped a little bit.
Yeah.
This is really cool. I actually really like this idea, this vision that eventually the world and the content will be so full of AI that like a completely AI free content
Yeah.
will just get its own super valuable thing. Just kind of like the world is just generally naturally swinging between like, oh, I want everything like super processed and super like artificial manufactured, to like, oh, I want everything super organic, right? Like it happens in healthcare, it happens in food, it happens in fashion and clothes. We go from like very, very like unnatural materials because that's cool, back to like super, super natural and like kind of like down to earth things. And then we go back. So it's just kind of like this natural, I think, progression of humans that like, okay, now everyone like AI is all the rage, but eventually